Good morning, everyone. I am subbing this morning for Aubrey. We had some difficulty getting onto Zoom this morning. Difficulty me being unable to sub in that format. So here I am, and we are going to be doing a kind of a slow flow class today, but we'll try to get to all the major body parts. A little more grounding flow. So let's start seated somewhere comfortably on your mat. I hope you guys can see me okay. All right, so take a moment and just find your comfortable seat, whether that's sitting cross-legged. I'm going to sit back on my heels. It just tends to feel better for me these days. So find that comfortable seat where you can ground down either through tops of the feet or the sit bones, or maybe you're sitting on something like a pillow if you have one at home, or maybe your legs are stretched out in front of you. So whatever that shape is for you this morning, take a deep breath and find some comfort, find some stillness, and close your eyes. Start to deepen your breath. And just notice how you feel as you become still. Notice the sensations in maybe the hips as they decide whether or not they like this shape. The low back in the same way. Let's take a moment to roll the shoulders up by the ears. Take a deep breath and grow the spine tall, and exhale, let the shoulders relax down. For a moment, allow the chin to come down toward the center of the chest to feel some elongation in the back of the neck. And with shoulders back from the ears, we'll start to roll the right ear to the right shoulder. And then very slowly take it back into center. Take the ear over to the left shoulder. And let's go once more to each side here. Let's take a long, deliberate inhale as we take right ear to right shoulder. Let the breath out as we come chin to chest. Inhaling as we take left ear to left shoulder. And then with the chin toward the chest, let's take the hands and interlace them at the back of the head very lightly. We're not pulling it down. Just allow the elbows to soften down toward the floor. And then on the inhale, press the head into the hands and open the elbows. Take a big deep breath, rest the head into the hands. Keep the length in the back of the neck, so we're slightly letting the chin kind of come downward rather than up toward the sky. And then as you exhale, round your spine, taking the elbows in and down toward the floor. Feel space in the upper back. And then inhaling, open once again. And do that 3 more times. Really follow your breath. Exhaling, bringing the navel to the spine, elbows toward the floor, long back body. And then as you inhale, we'll open up, kind of engaging the muscles around the spine, kind of hugging everything in toward the center. Exhaling, draw inward. And inhale. And then exhale. And then this time, as we inhale, keeping all of that shape, we'll just let the hands go down toward the floor. Let the chin come down toward the chest. Hands just lightly touch the floor here. Inhaling, reach arms high, look up. Exhale, reverse the palms, look down, hands toward the floor. And then one more time, we'll inhale, come up. Exhale, come down. And then as we come up, we'll allow the hands to come down toward the center, into Anjali Mudra, into our hearts. And here you can set an intention, whether it's an intention for your day or for your practice, whatever it is for you. Take a moment to settle on something that brings you, joy or makes you feel a little bit grateful for this new day. And then with your hands resting down on your lap, again, roll the shoulders up by the ears and exhale. And we'll come around and sit cross-legged if you're not there already. And if you're sitting on something, you can remain there. And then switch in the non-habitual way. So bring the opposite foot in the front. It might feel a little more awkward. Your knees might be a little more lifted here. That's fine. Just try to sit up nice and tall. And if it's really uncomfortable, obviously, you can switch back to the comfortable way. We'll take the hands toward the knees and we'll start to circle the spine. Just start with very small circles. So with these small circles, you'll notice where the sensation is happening, whether it's, in the hips, which is probably the obvious place, but in the low back, maybe even in the shoulders as you let the head relax and kind of go along for the ride as the circles get a little bit bigger. And there might be a spot where you're feeling some extra sensation. So maybe you take it to one side and maybe you hover there and kind of just pass back and forth a few times. And then your body says, okay, I'm ready to continue, and you can keep going. We'll take one more circle in this direction. And then coming to center, switch the cross of the legs, and then we'll go in the other direction. So taking it again very slowly, taking the circles, maybe they're just barely circles over the hips, or maybe you go a little bit bigger. Maybe your hips are a little bit more ready this morning. Maybe they're, having a conversation with you that is a little bit quieter. So take one more big circle. And again, hovering over that one past area if you want to. And then let's slow the movement down, coming back into center. And we'll take the shoulders up as you inhale. Exhale, soften them back down. And then hands down by your side. Roll the shoulders back so we're sitting up nice and tall, and then lightly touch the floor. And we're going to walk the hands as far away from the body as they can go without lifting the fingertips. And then let's just start to lift the index finger. So we're just maybe resting on the ring finger and the pinky. So we feel the shoulder blades move down onto the back. We feel the palms open. And then maybe the fingertips lift. Just start to open up across your chest. And then as you exhale, we're going to bring the hands out in front of you, interlace the fingers, push the palms away as you round your spine, curl into the back. Hug the shoulders away from the ears. In fact, take the hands now toward the ankles and just allow a little bit of that space to come to the upper back. And then with soft elbows, push away and start to come up. Hands come up and overhead as you inhale, hug the shoulders down. And just a slight lean toward the right. It's not a big active motion. We're just plugging that left sit bone down and leaning toward the right. And then coming back into center, slowly inhale and exhale toward the left. Again, stay heavy in that right sit bone. Stay open through the chest, so roll that left shoulder under. And then inhale as you come up to center. Slowly let the hands rest down to shoulder height. We're just going to keep those arms open. And then as you exhale, crossing the right arm over the left. Just relax down through the elbows. Doesn't have to be a bind quite yet, unless you're ready for it, which case we'll be going there, but if you want to stay here, that's fine too. Start to walk your hands back towards your shoulder blades. It's like you want to touch your hands behind you. Probably won't ever happen, but we'll just kind of take that as an idea of a guide where to go. Relax those shoulders down. Maybe the elbows lift a little bit here. Maybe you release your hands and maybe take the fingertips of the left hand towards your right palm. Turn the thumbs towards you here. Hug the shoulders down, lift the fingertips toward the sky. In that same kind of motion we did before, we're going to round your spine, fingertips come forward, elbows in towards your belly. As you bring your chin to your chest, we'll exhale. Lean forward like you're scooping something up with your fingertips and inhale, lift back up. And then elbows drop down toward the chest. Relax your hands, slowly reach them up. Inhaling. Good. And then exhaling, let the hands settle down. Again, we'll maybe take a moment to just shake the legs out and then cross in the non-habitual way. Again, roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Fingertips walk away from the body, lightly touching the floor. And then we'll open up the palms so that maybe just the pinkies and the ring finger touch the floor. Squeeze the shoulder blades here. And then maybe reach back a little bit more through the arms. Lift the heart. It's like you're moving the heart forward and the hands back here. Inhale. And then as you exhale, bringing the left arm on top, holding the shoulders lightly and just relaxing the head, relaxing the shoulders. Noticing just what it feels like on this side. And then you start to walk the hands back without shrugging the shoulders toward the ears. So we keep all that space in the sides of the neck. And slowly lifting up the elbows, seeing what that feels like. We're going a little bit deeper here with the bind into eagle with the right fingertips of the right hand toward the left palm. Turn thumbs towards your face. Relax the shoulders from the ears here. Push the forearms forward. Stay active in the belly so we still have that lift of the torso. Lift the fingertips high, shoulders down. And inhale and then exhale, round your spine, elbows in towards your belly, chin to your chest. Lean back a little bit, fingertips face more forward. And then scooping something up as we inhale, lean forward, reach your fingertips high. And then slowly let the elbows drop down. Relax your hands here. Hands will come to the left. Just kind of shake the arms out. Okay. Take take a moment to roll through your wrists. So we'll make fists with both hands. Take a couple of rolls through the wrist in one direction and the other. And then we'll take the hands in front of us and interlace the fingers and just roll through the wrist as our palms touch one another. Good. So in this kind of time, we spend a lot of time on the computer, on our phones to communicate with one another. So it's nice to stretch the hands. And here, if you want to switch the way that you're sitting, you can come back on your feet or do anything that helps your low body kind of stay awake and involved. And then relax your hands, and we'll take both hands out in front of you. Turn the palms away, so you're going to take your thumbs down, take the right arm over the left, and re-interlace your fingers. We're going to take the hands in towards you and then forward. So try to keep your palms together to touch if possible. Draw the elbows in, shoulders down. Try to really squish the palms together, grip with the fingertips, and then maybe lightly take the hands a little bit away from the chest to feel a deeper stretch here. One more breath. And then slowly release. Relax your hands forward. Shake the hands out, and we'll do the other side. So just hands out in front, thumbs down, this time left over the right. Interlace the fingers. And then bring the palms in towards you. And then squeeze the palms toward one another, squeeze the fingers. And notice if everything else is getting involved. Are you squeezing forward? So try to relax everything else. It's just about the hands. Take another breath, maybe hands away from the chest just a little bit. And then slowly release. Relax here. And just one more. We're going to interlace the fingers in front of you. Good. And then we're just going to kind of place the palms toward the floor. So we're kind of bringing the webbing of the hands, the fingers together here. And then we're going to take the right wrist on top and the left wrist on the bottom. So we're creating the shape where our hands are like that. So we're really pressing the left palm toward the right and the top of the right wrist toward the left. So the right hand's on the top. So you should feel a stretch in the top of the right wrist and in the palm of that left hand and base of the left wrist. And then come to center, and this time top of the left wrist presses to the right, palm of the right hand presses toward the left. Keep the elbows in line with the wrists here, that'll help. Good. Inhale and exhale. Coming back to center, relax your hands here. And then we'll take that comfortable seat. We're gonna do some side reaches and some twists and some forward folds. And then we're gonna kind of come up onto the knees and do a few things. So when we come up onto the knees, you might want to grab a blanket to cushion your knees. So if you don't have one, you can go ahead and go grab one and catch up with us. And so with your hands down by your side, we'll inhale, reach up. And exhaling as the right hand comes down. And just like we did before, we're going to creep our hands as far away from the body as we can go without lifting the left sit bone. Relax that right shoulder, reach out through left hand and take that side bend to the right. We're going to roll that bottom shoulder under so we stay open through the chest. Reach out through the ring finger of the left hand, really opening here. Maybe you look up, maybe you look down. Just find a comfortable place for your head. Your neck isn't feeling like it's doing a lot of work. Take another breath as you reach and open that left side body. And then slowly use that top arm, come all the way up. Take a big breath here. And then exhale as the left hand comes down. So we first find that length. We find grounding through right sit bone, reaching out and up through the right hand. Left hand travels way over toward the left. Keep the hand in line with the left hip. And then relax the left hand, reach out through right hand, breathe in, open up right ribs, press right sit bone down. And kind of be conscious of how much work your neck is doing. So you want to relax the shoulders from the ears. You want to feel a little bit more spacious, both right and left side of the neck here. One more breath, maybe that right thumb reaches back just a little bit here. And then use that top arm, come all the way up, breathe both arms high, and exhale, hands down by your side. Good, one more, inhale, reach up. And this time, spinal twist. We're gonna kind of come into it a little bit more gradually. We're gonna slowly just take the hands down toward a T and turn toward the right. And just go as far as you can without using the hands as leverage to twist. Shoulders are down, inhale, and let the hands just fall where they naturally are. For me, my left hand is just right inside my left knee. I'm gonna use the back of my left hand to press into my left knee. Rather than take it across the body, we're We're going to press it into that same knee. You'll still feel a little bit of leverage, but it's not as kind of wrenching as the other direction. It's a little early in the practice, so we don't want to go too far into our twist too early. One more breath here. Maybe if you want to, you can take a little bit more length out through the crown of the head. Maybe now that left hand comes to the right knee and you can find a little more space to look back behind you. So here you're going to draw the belly to the spine, give a little bit of energy up through the low back. So we're sitting on the sit bones rather than the tailbone here. And then as you look forward, slowly come out of the twist by reaching the arms high, using that slow core strength to come back into center. And then exhale, hands down by your side. Take another inhale, reach up. Exhale as the hands come down to shoulder height. Slow, deliberate twist toward the left, using that core strength to twist. And then slowly just let the hands settle down toward the earth. One side might be a little deeper than the other, or you might not be able to go as fast or as far into the twist on one side than the other. Take the back of the right hand and press it to the right knee and turn the torso just a little bit more toward the left. Notice if you're finding tension and kind of hugging in and up through the hips. Try to relax the hips here. Lift up through the crown of the head, look back behind you if it's comfortable for your neck. And then maybe that right hand can come across to the left knee. So it's not really a deeper twist, it's just a little bit more gentle kind of ease and transition. One more lengthening inhale, reach up. Maybe that left hand comes right behind the tailbone to give a little bit of support to the low back. And to come out of the twist, it's always important to take the gaze forward first. You're taking the twist out of the neck first, which is one of the kind of weaker parts of this spine. It's not as strong as, say, the middle back. So as we come to center, let's take a breath in and exhale as your hands come down. So we're going to imagine we have a shape of a heart in front of us. Kind of the point is going forward. So we're going to kind of trace that heart with our hands. So it's kind of this motion. You're going to draw your hands in, draw them out, and draw them forward. So let's draw the hands in, a little bit of lean back, and then reach forward. Good. And then you might take your head into this, so relax your chin towards your chest as hands come forward. Inhale, open up, reach forward, and then slowly come back up. We'll take one more reach forward, and here we're just going to hold here. Maybe you come into like a more of an energized reach forward, or maybe you just rest your forearms or your hands toward the floor. Try to take the position that you're very heavy into the sit bones, and you can reach the hands forward, but try not to force. It's not about how far you can go. It's about where do you find sensation, and does it feel productive? Does it feel comfortable? So as your hands are forward, it might help to bring your hands a little wider apart. It might help to soften the elbows down, or it might help to give a little bit of a sway from side to side. Which side feels a little bit more tight? And then giving ourselves some space, we're going to walk the hands a little bit closer to the body so we have a nice tall spine. And then we're going to slowly walk the hands around toward the right side. But try to keep really grounded in that left sit bone. Roll the right shoulder open. Feel the heart move forward. Feel yourself kind of pulling down and back into the hands to let the heart come forward. And then you're going to walk your hands a little more out diagonally toward the right, trying to square off the shoulders. And then a deep breath will tell you where that deepest stretch is occurring. So as you inhale, maybe, or you're probably feeling it in the left low back, maybe even the back ribs, maybe even in the shoulders. Can you soften the shoulders and kind of turn those inner elbows upward more than inward so you can really feel space at the tops of the shoulders here. Take one more breath as you lift and lengthen, and then exhale, soften in. And then before coming to center, walk the hands back toward that right knee. Give yourself a little bit more space, and then come back into center. Take a breath and notice the sensation between right side and left side. And inhale, and then exhale, we're just going to slowly walk toward the left. And then again, press into the hands. You're going to feel your hands push down into the floor, and almost like you're trying to hug yourself through those hands. You know, you're pushing down and back into the hands to feel that heart open just a little bit more. Inhaling, and then exhale, walk your hands diagonally out toward the left side. So we're going to soften down through the right shoulders so that our shoulders are square. Right sit bone is heavy and into the floor. Inhaling deeply into the right ribs. So take that really deep breath. that conscious kind of awareness into what the purpose is behind what we're doing. So take that big breath here, and then let the exhale be your cue on how far you kind of go down and relax into it. And again, we're going to walk our hands back toward our left knee, find your space, and then coming back into center. Hands will come back behind you. We're going to come to the fingertips. Hands are pretty close to the hips here. We're going to turn our palms out so that our fingers face more back toward the back of the room. And then maybe walk your hands back and outward just slightly. Push into the hands, open up the heart. And so you might stay on your fingertips and simply stay here, or you may really yield into the palms and start to lift the hips. So it can be any amount. You can come up and down. It may be too much in the wrists or too much in the fingertips. If that's the case, maybe just come onto the palms and maybe you can lift a little bit more comfortably. What we don't want to do is find ourselves collapsing into the chest. We want to continue the lift of the heart, the opening of the chest. Take one more breath here, and then slowly let's take the hips down toward the floor. Take the right leg out and the left leg out, nice and wide apart. Lean back into the hands so it's pretty relaxed into the shoulders. And here it's okay to kind of collapse into the shoulders and allow maybe some rock side to side into the shoulders. Let's take the knees from side to side. Take the knees up and over toward the left and toward the right. Just feel a little bit of movement here into the hips. You might take the arms into the motion, so as the hips go toward, if the knees go toward the right, take the left hand, maybe tap the right shoulder. And you can maybe even just let the arm go naturally, just come side to side. Some people like to lift the hips here. Some people like to kind of press into that left hand and lift the hips as you swing that right arm, coming side to side, lifting up. It's a really nice way to open up the front of the hip flexor, nice and slow this morning. And let's come once more toward the right, once more toward the left. And then as we come to center, we're going to come all the way around and move into tabletop. So here's where you'd cushion your knees if you want to. Go ahead and bring your hands under your shoulders, your knees under your hips. And we'll just start to circle the torso. So just bring the weight into one hand and then the other. And then bring the hips back toward, heels. So just coming maybe into a figure 8 shapes with the body. It's just kind of opening up the hips, opening up the knees, opening up the wrists. Making sure that you notice where the weight comes into the palms as you come forward. You always want to have your shoulders and your elbows and your wrists kind of in a straight line if you're bringing any weight into the hands or the wrists. And the same goes for the knees. You want to always keep the knees under the hips. So taking your toes, let's curl them under, and we're going to do some stretches for the feet. So just kind of coming back with the hips toward the heels and coming forward. See if you can tuck all 10 toes under, even your pinky toes. Those are the hard ones to get to cooperate. But coming back and forth, you're going to feel that stretch in the soles of the feet and the Achilles tendon. So as your hips come back towards your heels, your feet might be hip distance or they might be together. Just notice what's most comfortable for you. Walk your hands back towards your knees. Bring them back a little closer. You might stay exactly right here. This may be too much for your knees. You might kind of come back and just stay with tabletop. Maybe cats and cows can be your option for this. But otherwise, you can maybe come and sit back towards your heels, hips, shoulders, and ankles in one line. Take a couple of breaths here. You can reach under and kind of tuck those pinky toes under. Take another deep breath. I know that I haven't been wearing any fancy shoes for the past couple of months, so my feet are pretty okay. If you've been kind of doing a lot of going to work and having to dress into nice shoes or going to events, a lot of times we wear those shoes that pinch our feet. So it's nice that our feet might be a little more cooperative this morning. Let's walk our hands forward and come back into center. And then we're going to come to the tops of the feet. Bring the feet together to touch and the knees together to touch. And again, sit back towards your heels. Let your hands come back and take the shape of, or variation of Virasana, so sitting hips toward heels. We're going to take the right hand kind of down toward the floor on the right side of us. Go ahead and lift that right knee if you can. Left hand will come to the knee just for support. Lean back a little bit here. You should feel the stretch on the top of the right foot. And then we'll slowly bring it back down. Weight comes into left hand, use it for support. Lift your left knee, take your right hand to the top of the knee, lean back a little bit here. Try to open your chest a little bit toward the left. It'll help to kind of balance the posture out. Good. Adding a little twist, and then bringing both knees down. Slide your hands back, maybe level with the toes. Lift both knees. You might find a little balance by taking one hand to one knee or both hands to both knees. Both hands to both knees is a little intense, so if you want to keep your hands back, that's fine. And then slowly use your hands to balance you down. Knees come back down. We're going to lean forward. Weight comes into the hands. Just take the right leg, tuck the toes under, and you're going to press back through the heel, come forward to the toes. So this should feel good in the backs of the knees, feeling a little space. And then let's circle through the ankles. So you're going to press the heel back with the toes curled under. Then you're going to kind of drop the inner arch toward the floor and then roll to the top of the foot and then bring the ankle outward, rolling back to toes curling under. So take one more big circle through the ankle. And then you're going to take that right leg, lift it up and off the floor, toes pointing straight down toward the floor. We're going to exhale, just pull the knee in toward the nose. Push your hands to the floor. Keep those shoulders right over the wrists as you come through this. Inhale, reaching it back. One more time, just like this. Exhale and inhale. Or you might want to add that left arm, reaching hand and arm opposite, and bring the elbow to the knee. So we're going to take 3 more of these. We're going to inhale, reach long. Whether or not you're keeping both hands on the floor or taking one hand and one leg. Make sure the gaze stays downward. Gaze is between the thumbs or down toward the right thumb. One more time, inhale, exhale. Holding a moment here, breathe in. And then that left hand will come down. The right foot will come across the body toward the left. Toes will curl under. So bring the ball of the foot to the floor. And then we're going to turn and look toward the foot, opening up that right side. So we're just going to kind of hug in toward left side, open up through right side. Look at the toes behind you. Try to keep the right leg active. And then we're going to bring that leg straight back. Bring the toes of the right foot to the floor. The weight comes into the right hand. We're going to take that left arm high. Nice twist here. And then exhale, take the left hand down. We're going to drop the right heel to the floor. So the whole sole of the foot is touching the floor, the outer edge of the right foot pushing down and away toward the back edge of our mat. We're going to take the left foot behind us. Imagine it like a kickstand helping us balance. Keep the left hip directly under or over the knee and take the left hand right under the shoulder. Push into that left hand and start to take the right arm up toward the sky. So you might take those adjustments. Look down at your left hand, your knee, and your right foot. Try to keep them all in one line. Now push down and away to the right foot. Open up your gaze toward the right hand. So your wrists and your hands should be stacked, one on top of the other. The right hand faces forward, and then we'll take the right hand bicep alongside the ear. Good, reaching it up and over. Taking a deep breath here. And exhale, bring it back down toward the floor. Good, coming back to center, both knees come down. Round your spine, exhale. Inhale, open your chest. Coming back into center, we'll take that left leg and stretch it back and start to do those circles, those ankle circles around. So breathing here, circling the inner ankle. And then maybe circle in the other way. Take the left foot back, lift it hip height, making sure those toes are pointing down toward the floor. And we'll take crunch ins, taking the knee in toward the nose. Inhale, reach back. Exhale, hug in. Here you can add the arm for those 3 crunching ins. Knee toward your chest. Drop the left toes toward the floor, yielding into the left hand. We're going to take the right arm high toward the sky. Twisting. Inhale. Exhale, right hand down. We're going to lower the left heel. Right foot comes behind us. Push into the right hand. Left arm opens up. And then reach for the front of the room with that left hand. Up and over. Taking a deep breath. And then we're going to come back into center. Technical difficulties here. And then into tabletop. Taking your knees nice and wide apart. We'll exhale, take the hips back toward the heels. Reach your hands forward and take a few breaths here in child's pose. As you breathe, take the breath in. Let the breath out. Taking a few just deep breaths. And the body to relax heavy, back toward the heels. And then we're going to lengthen up and walk the hands around toward the right side, pressing that left hip way back. Relax your head towards the floor or to the space in between the arms. Kind of opening up that left side. And then coming back into center, walk around toward the left. Push that right hip back. Relax down through the head. And then we're going to slowly walk into center. We're going to round our way up, coming back into table. Let's curl our toes under and lift the hips high, moving into downward facing dog. Pedaling your feet side to side, allowing the head to rest heavy down between the arms. So shake the head yes, shake the head no, just a few times to relax into the shoulders, into the sides of the neck. And then we'll slowly begin to take the right leg up and back into three-legged dog. You can also be doing this from tabletop. Take the right foot in between your hands. Let's move into runner's lunge. Taking the feet hip width apart, lower that left knee toward the floor. Uncurl those toes. Take a moment for your hips to kind of get ready for this. And then if you'd like, take your hands to that front thigh and start to lift up. Make sure the right knee is directly over the ankle. Allow the hips to settle down. Bring the arms up toward the sky. Nice Anjaneyasana or low lunge here. Opening up the front left side, the hip. Inhale. And exhale. Slowly bring the hands down. We're going to work to straighten that right leg, but we don't have to straighten it all the way. We're just going to kind of take the left hip and bring it over the knee. Keep the belly glued toward that right thigh. Flex the right toes and just come back and forth. So the right foot might have to move forward a little bit here. The cue is to kind of keep the heart lifted. Keep the right hip dropping down. Keep the right foot flexed. Heart forward. Take a big deep breath. And exhale, start to fold forward. So it's all about the back of the right leg. It shouldn't feel painful. It should feel like you're opening something up rather than, tightening something off. Right? So start to really dig that right heel into the floor. It's like you want to dig the heel into the floor so much and then kind of pull the right hip back. So you're going to lengthen. You're going to find a little length in the spine as you do that. And then as you soften the right knee, we're going to bring the weight back into the front foot, into our lunge. Take one more lift up. And then as you exhale, hands yield into the floor. We're going to curl our toes under on the left side. Lift the knee, stepping it back into down dog. And then coming back and forth, pedaling heels. Find a moment in your steady down dog, lifting hips towards sky. And then we're going to slowly lift the right leg back and up. Long straight line between the hands, so you're using the hands to press and lift that left leg. And then on the exhale, weight comes into the hands as you step the left foot forward, finding that runner's lunge. So find your feet here. They might be a little bit of a wider stance. They might be a little bit wider apart. Take the right knee toward the floor and allow your body to kind of just feel what this side is telling you. And
If you're ready to, the hands can travel up toward that left knee. And if you'd like to, here your hands can open, palms face one another, elbows are soft. Allow the heart to lift rather than lean back. So kind of squeeze left heel in toward right knee, activate the low belly. Inhale, and then as you exhale, hands will come down toward the floor, and here's you want to ease the right hip over the knee, keeping the belly glued toward the left thigh. Hug your left toes toward the shins. You're flexing the foot deeply, that left heel kind of digging its way in toward the mat. Take the right hip directly over the knee as you start to bring the hands under the shoulders. Maybe you get onto the fingertips here. Flex the toes of the left foot. Inhale, heart forward, and then exhale, fold forward. So again, it's not how far you go. It's less about nose to knee, more about crown of head toward the top edge of your mat or toward the wall in front of you. Left heel digs its way downward. Left hip hugs its way back to lengthen your spine. One more breath. And then slowly bend that left knee, taking the knee over the ankle. We'll take one more lift up. Inhaling. Exhaling as the hands come down. Press into the palms, curl your right toes. We're going to lift that knee, step back into downward dog. And pedaling ourselves back and forth. We're going to come forward into a high plank pose. Lower the knees, chest and chin, come all the way to the belly. Stack your hands underneath your forehead, bend your knees, and just let your legs go from side to side. Just made a little bit of a relief here from hip flexor work, from hamstring work, so you can start to make circles with your feet. And then as you come to stillness, just let's take the hands down by your side. Take your forehead toward the floor. And let's take 3 lifts here. We're going to lift back of head, hands, squeeze. Bring your feet up so everything squeezes in and up. Exhale, slowly tap everything down. Inhale, another lift. Exhale, one more lower. One more lift. Exhale as you lower, forehead comes down. Bringing your hands in by your side, pressing up. Exhale, knees wide, back into child's pose. And then as we round our way up into seated, we're going to bring our knees to one side, our hips to one side. Bring ourselves up about 3/4 of the way up onto our mat. Bring your hands behind your knees, and let's inhale, open up the chest. Exhale, slow, deliberate rounding of your spine. Taking an inhale, let's lift up. Moving into Navasana, we're going to bring ourselves between our sit bones and our tailbone, hugging the knees in, taking the hands forward. We're going to take 5 breaths here. So try to take a position where you're not compromising the length in your spine. So maybe you can hold on to the knees. Maybe you up level by straightening the legs. But kind of take your option where you can find your breath without too much of a struggle here. Breathe in. Breathing out. 2 more breaths. Inhale and exhale. And bringing the hands back behind the knees. Feet go down toward the floor. Let's open up your heart. And then as you exhale, we're going to reach, round, and come all the way down. So we're going to take about a count of a 10. So curling your tailbone. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You're coming all the way down toward the floor. And we're just going to draw our knees in toward the chest. Taking a few rocks from side to side. And then we'll take the hands and feet toward the sky. Just circle out through your ankles and your wrists. And then we're going to bend the knees. Take the left foot down. And then bring the outer right ankle right above the knee for figure 4 pose. And kind of press the right knee forward, hugging that left knee in towards you just to stretch that right hip. Using that right ankle to press that right knee forward. Flex your right toes. And then try to press your tailbone down toward the floor. And taking one more inhale. And then as you exhale, slowly take the left foot down, uncross, and bring the right foot to the floor. Bring the left ankle on top this time, hugging the right knee in, pressing your left knee in, or elbow into the left knee, tailbone pressing toward the floor. And then we'll slowly bring the right leg down, uncross the legs. Take just a windshield wiper or two out through the knees. And then we're going to go ahead and bring the knees directly over the hips. And actually, one more thing. Bring your feet toward the floor for a second. We're going to lift the hips up and over toward the right, about 3 inches. Then lift your knees over the hips. And then slowly take the knees over toward the left. That kind of just aligns your spine to neutral. Slowly take the arms out wide into a T. Relax your right shoulder down. And then let the head drop off toward the right side. Couple of deep breaths here along low back, along outer right hip. Feel a little more expansive out through the hands. So reach the hands as far away from one another as they can go. Good. To come out of the twist, let's bring the gaze upward. Bring the knees in towards your chest and then come to center. Bring the feet down, realign the hips to center. And we're going to lift the hips up and over 3 or 4 inches to the left. Knees come back over the hips. And then relax the knees over toward the right side. And then take your adjustments with the upper back. Just allow that left shoulder relax, palms facing up, and let the gaze drop up and over toward the left side. And a couple of long deep breaths here. Again, feel that spaciousness across the chest and out through the arms. Find a little more space down through left ribs, left hip, left knee. And then as the gaze comes up, the knees come in toward the chest, come down toward the floor, realign the hips. Hands will come down toward the ankles. We're going to come into bridge pose. Rest the back of the head. So take a moment to lift the head, elongate the back of the neck, and reset it down. We're going to curl the tailbone. So press the low back. Hips will start to lift. Make sure the knees go directly forward. And as the hips start to lift, imagine the knees going straight forward toward the wall in front of you. Press down through the backs of the arms. Maybe you open up the palms and press more into the backs of the arms, or maybe the hands start to interlace underneath you. If the hands are interlaced, make sure you release the pinkies so that you can feel that action of pressing down through the whole outer right arm. Maybe the toes lift a moment, really reground through the feet. Feeling the chest expansion as the heart moves toward the wall behind you. Keep the gaze up, try not to look right or left. And then if your hands are interlaced, release them, curl the tailbone and lower slowly, slowly, slowly down toward the floor. Take a moment with your long spine on the floor, just maybe relax your knees together. Take your feet apart so your knees kind of knock in like just together while the feet are apart. Hands resting down on your belly. And then let's bring the knees back and in toward the chest, rocking side to side. And taking the soles of the feet together, bring the outer edges of the feet to the floor. Give a little press into the thighs so that the inner thighs can start to open. And let's take the arms overhead and just either relax your arms into goalpost or cactus, or rest one palm, or rest one hand into one palm and relax your hands. Or you can interlace them behind the head for a little pillow here. Just kind of relax into back body. Feel the breath move down into the ribs. Feel the breath move into the belly. Allow the space to remain comfortable. Minimal effort here. Let's take the back of the head toward the floor. Hands will help the knees together. And here, if you'd like, you can take an inversion of your choice, whether that's, you can make your way over to a wall, take your hips way up against the wall, take your legs up into the air, and you can spend as long as you'd like in that position for Viparita Karani, which is legs up the wall. It's a really nice, very low risk of injury in that one. So you can take your legs up and just kind of relax. The only counter indication for legs up the wall is if you have any eye pressure or circulatory problems that you might not want to take any blood flow from the feet unnecessarily. So just always make sure that inversions are safe if you have any issues. But other than that, if you're in the middle of your mat, you can just take your legs and your feet up into the air, or you can take shoulder stand or whatever inversion you have. Just make sure if you're at home that you're not trying something risky that you've never tried before. So as always, it's my honor to be here this morning. I'll allow you to take your version of Shavasana as long as you'd like. So if you want to kind of turn the phone off or take any extra time, feel free to do that. So thank you so much for having me as a sub for Aubrey on this beautiful Thursday morning. Hope everyone has a wonderful day. Namaste.